Good afternoon. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Sutter County Board of Supervisors. First procedure for public comment. Members of the public will be allowed to address the board during the board's consideration of each agenda item. If you wish to speak on any item appearing on the agenda, please fill a speaker card noting the number of the agenda item which you're about to speak and present it to the board clerk. If you wish to speak about more than one agenda item, please fill a separate speaker card for each item. And if you wish to speak under public comment, please note that on the speaker card, when the matter is announced, please approach the speaker's lectern after being recognized by the chair. Lectern back there. Okay, roll call, please.
Supervisor McKelly?
Here.
Supervisor Flores?
Present.
Supervisor Ziegemeier? Present. Supervisor Baines?
Present.
Supervisor Conant?
Present. We will have the invocation by Richard Lehman of St. James Jerusalem Episcopal Church, followed by the flag salute by Scott Jean. Please stand.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Chairman. I don't believe Mr. Laughlin was able to make it to the meeting.
Oh, he's not here. Okay. I guess we'll just, Dan, would you like to say a few words?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to say to you, Our Father, like you guys enjoy me today. It means a lot to me, so if we could do that together, I appreciate it. Our Father,
Art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Dear Lord, let's also remember the fire that we had in Marysville last week, that we are thankful that no one was killed or injured in that fire. In Jesus' name. Scott. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We have one presentation.
Scott Jean, Fire Battalion Chief, please join the board to receive a gold resolution in honor of your service to Sutter County.
Scott D. Jeans, long career in fire suppression and emergency medical aid in Sutter County, began at the age of 18, just a whippersnapper.
Only 19 now.
He volunteered for the fire station in his home community of Sutter, where he graduated with honors at Sutter Union High School in 1988. After graduating from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, he remained in Sutter County and remained as a volunteer firefighter and worked extra help from 1994 to 95 and was hired a full-time firefighter in 2000. He was promoted to fire engineer in 2002 and promoted to fire captain in 2012. He was promoted to battalion chief in 2020 and ended his career in Sutter Station, where he first volunteered. During his time in service, Battalion Chief Jean was the equestrian caring firefighter who always engaged in the important events of his community, including serving at the Santa Claus Sutter Children's, and recognized a successful effort to raise funds and material for evacuees from the campfire in Paradise in 2018, and served a leadership role in the labor organization representing firefighters in Sutter County. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors offers congratulations to Battalion Chief Scott Jean on an occasion of his retirement and cause the name of each member to be affixed to the gold resolution as evidence of the board's individual and collective appreciation for his devotion to the safety residents of Sutter County and success to his home community of Sutter, as well-being of the men and women provide fire suppression, emergency medical services, responding to services of those in those residences. Scott, would you like to say a few
I just want to say it's been an honor and a privilege to serve the community in the county of Sutter. Thank you.
And you're a Cal Poly graduate. There's nothing else good about you.
All right. Okay. So, well, I'm sad that you left. I'm excited. We're still going to see you around the community. You know, Scott, being a firefighter from a small community like this is no different than being a supervisor or anyone from a small community. You're always called upon no matter what. Matter of fact, you know, at the fire department, over the years, the fire department used to sell Christmas trees to help raise funds and so forth. Seriously. And they're called upon from parades to last days of school activities and so forth. These guys know what I'm talking about. I can't tell you how many times these guys have been called upon after hours. Hey, Johnny, oi, Brandon, hey, Scott, what do you think about this or whatever? So it's incredible the amount of time you put in after. So, I mean, yeah, it's not just the job, it's so forth. I hope that you really get to enjoy your grandkids and watch some college rodeo and get to travel and not have to, I gotta get back to my job. So you enjoy it, have fun, and thank you for your service, and thank you all for your service. You guys really put up. Yeah, come on down. Let's get a picture, guys. Yeah, yes, come on down. We got a good crew here.
Okay, moving on. Public comment. Members of the public will be allowed to address the board on items of interest to the public that are within the subject matter and jurisdiction of the Board of Supervisors. State law provides that no discussion or action may be taken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda. Do we have any speaker cards?
We have 2 speaker cards. The first speaker is Tina Hessong.
DMV is closing 3 days a week in many counties. Our county library has announced reduced hours because of budget issues. Other counties, like Contra Costa, are canceling their board meetings to avoid admitting the fact that the state is flat broke. Yet, item 11 on today's agenda is approving the purchase of $52,000 worth of Help America Vote Act security items for an electronic voting system that has been proven over and over in courts all across this country to be unsecure. With this payment, no matter its source, you're paying Dominion to steal our elections. A June 15, 2020 Rasmussen poll states that 66% of likely U.S. voters are concerned that the 2024 presidential election will involve cheating. We, the people, who you are supposed to be representing, do not have confidence in the security of our elections, and an upgrade to an unsecure security system is not going to give the people of Sutter County assurance and confidence in the upcoming election. I would like to acknowledge the email response that I received from the ROV regarding my continued quest to find the 1,237 unaccounted for votes from Prop 1. However, I do not agree with her response that 1,237 voters left it blank. And if they did, shouldn't there be a category for that in the results so that the numbers reconcile? It leaves the door open to scrutiny and distrust. Let's shut the open door with a simple solution to this issue, a volunteer-led hand recount. In the email, the ROV invites me, and I quote, "Observe any of our processes." Thank you, Ms. Johnston. I accept your invitation and would love to observe the volunteer-led recount for Prop 1 that we have repeatedly requested. If this board and the ROV are confident in your election system, then there should not be an issue with we the people asking you to prove the numbers that you're asking us to accept. It's called transparency. Money is not the issue with a group of volunteers recounting the votes. Transparency is the issue. It's easy to assume that our elected officials have something to hide and benefit from this lack of transparency. If not, a hand recount would be scheduled and prove to the citizens that our distrust and lack of confidence in our election system is justified. I ask you to please remove item 11 from the consent agenda. Thank you.
Our second speaker is Tony Farley.
Yeah. Tony Farley, Walton Hyde Park area, Falls Drive. Here to thank the fire chief for his service for all his fire people. I appreciate that. Here to thank the sheriff's department is Katie Parker, not Perry Parker, W. Parker, a female deputy. There's 2-star Under Sheriff Scott Smallwood, and her dispatcher, like that, manager or coordinator. There's Zachary Hamble, man, that wartime civil defense director. There is Neil, the public works guy with the dogs. There is Bill, the future president and also lawyer. There's Professor Steve. That Professor Steve is a nice guy, man. He's a cool guy. There is the lawyer there, the farm lady. She owns a lot of farms. There is the baddest sheriff in town. Only bad sheriff in town. Only bad sheriff in town. And also, there is the Marine Corps guy. We got 4 o'clock in the morning boot camp doing PT and also the swimming lessons, the swimming training with the swimming pool, man. There is Carm Baines, the guy right there, the big equipment, somebody truck you name it, Carm Baines. Of course, Sarah for president, Gen X Sarah, Gen X Sarah, man. And there's lawyers. Don't forget Gina and Jamie. Thank you for your service. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony. Okay, moving on. Consent calendar groups together those items of interest which are considered non-controversial, which prior policy direction have been given to staff and only require routine action of the board. The chair will be advised the audience that the matter may be adopted one total motion. However, the board may add its option or the request of a member of the public consider any matter separately. We did have a request for moving item number 11 to vote on it separately. So
Item number 7. Number 7.
7, but a member of the audience talked about 11. So what's the pleasure of the board?
I move to accept the consent calendar, removing items 7 and 11.
Okay,
Second motion.
we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegenmeyer?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. Okay, now we'll do number 7.
And for number 7, I'm going to recuse myself because that is my daughter that applied for that board.
Okay,
And I don't, thank you.
do we have a motion for that one?
So moved.
Second.
Same? Okay, roll call, please, I guess.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. Okay, moving on to number 11. Approval of the adjustment to fiscal year 23-24 adopted budget, increasing the appropriations of grant revised elections budget by $52,000 purchase to help America Vote Act. That's a grant, so,
Through the chair.
yeah.
Elections night. I'm happy that, I go every election night. and I love it. These ladies, and I should say your husband too, because he's one of they all work really, really hard. Literally, they're working their tails off. And I know my colleagues have been there. I've been there. I personally really trust these individuals in there and what they're doing. I've seen it. I've spent hours in there watching, and it's incredible. Just, I hope that everyone else is the same way, but I've seen how they do it, and I've seen what they do. And I can, like I said, I can only hope that other counties are doing the same process, because there's a lot of checks and balances. It is not just, here you go. And I would implore you to take her up on her offer and go, and then you could see firsthand, it would blow your mind away how thorough, because, hey, we could talk about this because it's open. I don't agree with either. I can't stand the machine and so forth. But like I said, I see who's checking everything and fact checking, and that's what makes me sleep well at night, that I know here in Sutter County, we got the right people on the job.
Well, thank you, Supervisor Ziegemeier. So this is a grant that we have from the Secretary of State's office. These funds were expended in two areas. One is to physically secure the area with the upgraded security passpoint system, and added some additional doors for passpoint access into the building, and then also helped with some signage and some things for out of the polls for people who would like to go to the polls and vote. So we increased some signage and some areas in that area, things from those areas for those folks who want to come to the polls. So that's what that is for, and this is seeking reimbursement for that.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I move approval.
Second by Baines.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegenmeier? Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. Okay, moving on to item number 16, Waterworks number 1. We're adjourning the Board of Supervisors and convening the Waterworks District Board number 1 Board of Directors. Roll call. We'll let the roll call stand. Any public comment?
No.
No public comment. Okay. We have a consent calendar, one item on it. We have a motion and a second for that, please.
I make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Ziegemeier and Baines. Roll call, please.
Director McKelly?
Aye.
Director Flores?
Aye.
Director Ziegenmeier?
Aye.
Director Baines?
Aye.
Director Conant?
Aye. Okay. Appearance item. Nick Ramos, Soda Engineer, will present the item. Nick? Oh, Neil.
Approval of amendment number 4 to the independent contractor agreement with JSWWC Water and Wastewater Management to add 6 months of service with a not-to-exceed amount of $60,000 for fiscal year 2024 to 25, and increasing the total compensation to $314,887 for full-service wastewater operator services for the Robbins wastewater system, and authorization for the Director of General Services or purchasing agent or their designee to execute amendment number 4.
So, good afternoon, Chair and District Directors. So this matter is an extension of an existing contract for the system operator for the wastewater treatment plant located in Robbins. As the staff report kind of explains, so we've had a multi-year contract with the operator. And we're seeking an extension of the contract of the term so that we can go out for an RFP to try to solicit other interested operators. It is a state requirement for us to have a licensed operator to actually run the actual plant where the actual treatment occurs. In addition to an operator, we rely upon plumbing contractors typically to do various repairs throughout the community, whether they're for the pumps or the floats or the step tanks, or essentially the septic tanks that are on the property. So we've tried to utilize various plumbers in that aspect in order to try to lower the operational costs. A final alternative, almost recommended action that your board can decide upon is we could, seek to a recruitment for an employee. So previously, our department had an employee that was certified as the operator and was performing these services, and he subsequently retired. And when we tried to find another employee. We weren't able to. Prior to his retirement, both my department and General Services had a coordinated effort to try to have existing staff trained in order to go through the process. The main challenge is that you need about 2,000 supervised hours before you can take the state tests. And so that is certainly a challenge, and that's why there is somewhat of a premium on operators. We've also, along the way, we've contacted Yuba City to see if they would provide the services, and essentially we're told no. We've talked to other communities as well, Yolo County, City of Woodland, right? So essentially try to find operators within the vicinity. So it is a little bit of a challenging situation for us. And so we are trying to seek a solution to continue servicing the community. So like I say, the base recommended action is to extend the contract to give us time to, one, to go out and seek other operators, and maybe there's, because we realize the cost impact of it all, but additionally we're trying to utilize other plumbers and I'll say technicians to try to lower some of the maintenance needs. There's just been so much deferred maintenance in the community that now we're essentially just having to address breakdowns in the system. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions for Neil?
No, we went over it in Public Works.
Yeah. Any speaker cards? Okay. Board has no questions. We have a
Make a
motion.
motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Is that
Me.
okay? Thanks, Nick. All right. Let's do the roll call, please.
Director McKelly?
Aye.
Director Flores?
Aye.
Director Ziegenmeyer?
Aye.
Director Baines?
Aye.
Director Conant?
Aye. Okay. Other business. We don't have any other business. Therefore, we're gonna adjourn the Waterworks Board 1 directors and convene the In-Home Support Services Public Authority Governing Board. And we'll let the roll call stand. Members of the public are allowed to address the In-Home Support Services Public Authority Board of Directors on items of interest to the public. They're within the subject matter and jurisdiction of the board. State law provides that no action may be taken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda. Consent calendar. Or do we have any? Nothing? Okay. Okay, consent calendar. A motion.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Consent.
A motion and a second. Is that Nick? Okay. Do we do the roll call, I guess, please?
Director McKelly?
Aye.
Director Flores?
Aye.
Director Ziegenmeyer?
Aye.
Director Baines?
Aye.
Director Conant?
Aye. Okay, we're adjourning the In-Home Support Services Public Authority Governing Board and reconvening the Board of Supervisors. Let the roll call stand. Appearance item number 18 is Neil Hay.
Authorization for the chair of the board to execute a second 10-year facilities management agreement with the Sutter Buttes Regional Aviation Association for their continued management of the day-to-day operations at the Sutter County Airport from July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2034.
Okay. Neil?
Yeah, good afternoon, Chair and Supervisors. As you may recall, it was back in essentially late 2013 that the board approved a contract with SABRA, Sutter Buttes Regional Aviation Association, for them to manage the kind of the operation and maintenance of the Sutter County Airport. And so that 10-year term essentially expires at the end of this month. So subsequently, myself has been meeting with the SABRA, and we reviewed the existing agreement. And in consultation with the county administrator's office and with the county council's office, we prepared another agreement for another 10 years. The staff report explains kind of the two updates that were included in the agreement. One is an update of the staff hours that are associated with the airport. So the previous agreement budgeted 40 hours of staff time to assist the airport. There was a reduction that I recommended to be reduced to 20 hours, and that is just because yes, it's only billable for the staff time that's associated with it, but in light of, obviously, the county's budget and those type of concerns, we tried to bring it down to a realistic number. Anything in addition to the 20 hours would either be paid by some type of state or federal airport grant, or it would be paid by the SABRA if there were some activities that they needed done by staff. And then the second item pertains to, on an annual basis, the county receives $10,000 from Caltrans for the operations of the airport, and the previous agreement did not specifically call out what happens to that. It's been, I'll say, past practice that money was transferred to the airport for their operations and stuff. Additionally, the agreement didn't call out specifically what happened to the tax revenue from the airport that the county received. And so in the agreement and in the terms, we've made it such that the county will maintain the tax revenue and the airport will receive the funds. The airport, the SABRA, is the one who actually offered that recommendation and preference. And like I say, I felt that it was both reasonable and fair for the county and for the aviation group. And so with that, we have the agreement that's before you. It'd be for another 10-year term. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Through the chair.
Yeah.
Neil, are you happy with their service, the level of maintenance?
So most definitely. So I attend, for the most part, try to attend their monthly meetings and talk about the projects and the activities at the airport. I think they do a very good job. I just actually was at the airport last week with the Caltrans inspector, and he said, everything was in very good shape. He, certainly explained and offered some suggestions that could be taken care of. But I think in general, the SABRA has done a very good job operating the airport, and the community, is happy with it. I think the pilots community is happy. The rents and the tie-down fees certainly seem to be manageable, but very market driven. There's about 3 vacancies in the hangars that are out there at this time. And
Is there really?
And there's, so then they have people they kind of want a certain size hangar and those type of things. But I think they've, I think the airport's, operating in a good manner.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there any speaker cards on item number 18? No speaker cards. Okay. Any other comments or questions from the board?
Through the chair.
Seeing none?
Move approval of the recommended action. A second.
We have a motion by Dan and Nick. Anyway, roll call, please.
Through the chair.
Yeah, go ahead. Mike.
Are we voting on both 18 and 19? I mean, for me, it's almost like are we going to separate them?
They are currently separated on the agenda.
Yeah. Two different. So this is 18.
This is the recommended action on 18.
Right. Okay. Roll call, please.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegenmeyer?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. Okay, moving on. Number 19, excuse me. 19, go ahead.
Approval of an adjustment to the fiscal year 2023-24 adopted budget, increasing appropriations and revenues by $99,722 within cost centers CC 0101 and CC 1216 for an equipment loan payment for the implementation of the Lakeside at Sutter Point project.
Okay.
Thank you. So as you're aware, my department is responsible for processing the development known as Lakeside at Sutter Point. And one of the terms of the development agreement from November of 2020 is that development needs to pay for the cost of the improvements. So the matter before you actually is an equipment loan that needs to be purchased for a firefighting apparatus. It previously was reviewed and approved by your board on September 22nd. So as a part of that, there's lease financing, 9 years. And so the builders have already provided the check to my department. And this essentially is the action for us to receive the check and make the payment as required for the terms of the equipment.
Through the chair.
Yeah.
Move to approve.
Okay, a motion and a second. No speaker cards. Okay. And no comment from the board. Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, let's do roll call.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegenmeyer? Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. Okay, moving on, number 20.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Want to do it? Okay, have them come on in and we already started, but let's go ahead and do the invocation. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, we'll just stand for the invocation since we, thank you.
I'm sure God doesn't mind. Good and gracious God, we thank you for the blessings of freedom to meet today, to give thanks for those that make our community a better place, and to deliberate the desires, needs, and best use of your resources for our community. Open our hearts and minds to carefully listen to each other's concerns, to respectfully walk with each other, not judging, but working to understand our various perspectives as we are best able. Move every human heart, and especially the hearts of our community, that barriers that divide us may crumble, suspicions disappear, and hatred cease. That our divisions being healed, we may live in justice and peace. Lord, we pray you send down upon our supervisors the spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice, that with steadfast purpose, their decisions will promote the well-being of our communities through Jesus Christ our Lord, who lives and reigns with you in the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Richard.
You're welcome. Thank you for waiting.
Okay. Next is item number 20, Veronica Baumgartner, Interim Human Resources Director. Veronica, there you go.
Approval of an advanced step request for a mental health therapist 2 at step 6 in the Health and Human Services Department, Children's Services Branch, Youth and Family Behavioral Health.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. Veronica Baumgartner, Interim HR Director. If you recall, previously we came to your board and had changed our process for advanced step requests. So these higher step requests now come in front of your board for approval. So today, we are here, the Children's Services Branch of Health and Human Services have been actively recruiting for a mental health therapist position for over 3 months. This role is extremely critical in their department as it provides direct therapy and casework services to the children and youth and their families in our area. Identifying a candidate with the specific knowledge and background has been really difficult. We received 5 applications and only one of those qualified at the level 2 position, which is what we were looking for. Previously, another branch in HHS hired or recruited for the same mental health therapist position back in April 2013. We received 23 applications, but again, only one met the criteria for a level 2. So essentially recruiting at a higher level with this specialized field has proven really challenging. However, we're here today because we have identified a really highly qualified candidate with extensive experience in child welfare, Danielle Padilla. Danielle holds a master's degree in social work, is a licensed clinical social worker, and has over 17 years experience in related fields. Her experience includes roles as a social worker supervisor, a therapist, adoption specialist, social worker for, and additionally, the candidate has her own psychiatric practice and has actually completed some contract work with Sutter County as a court investigator. So some of our Sutter County colleagues have actually worked with her personally and had very good things to say about her, and we're very impressed with her professionalism and her background. This position works with a really special population, and the fact that she knows the whole court system and everything with child welfare and all the multiple disciplinaries that kind of work within the mental health field and this specific child services branch is just really impressive, honestly, for her to have that. So due to her multiple years of specialized experience, the candidate has requested an advanced step to come over. The advanced step has no fiscal impact on the county general fund, and adequate appropriations have already been included in the 24-25 behavioral health budget and will be funded with realignment funds. I do have some people from our program manager, our branch manager and our program manager here if you have any questions for them also. Thank you.
Okay. We have no speaker cards on this item. Okay. Any questions from the board?
I don't have any questions. I just want to say great job in luring someone this good over here. I mean, you know, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to the children of this community. Right? This is huge. So I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegenmeyer? Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. Okay, next, item 21, Steve Smith, he'll be doing 21, 22, and 23.
Tentative approval of the Sutter County fiscal year 2024-25 recommended budget at $477,450,253 and approval of related actions.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Supervisors. So I'll keep this short because we've had 3 public meetings, a budget workshop on April 25th, the budget presentation on June 11th, and then the budget hearings last week on June 18th. The board during the budget hearings had no specific changes other than direction that if throughout the year funds are available to come back to look at appropriating funds for the PARS, retirement investment, and money for reserves. Other than that, this budget is set for your approval to be the operating budget, which has to be done before June 30, before the fiscal year begins July 1, and then final adoption of the budget has to occur by October 2nd. And the auditor's office will work with various departments to close the fiscal year books and get the fund balances prepared and accurate for the final budget presentation, as mentioned in September, that you will then adopt. So this is ready for any additional discussion you may have. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Steve. Any speaker cards? No speaker cards? Question from the board?
Let's move approval of the recommended action.
Second.
A motion by Dan and Carm. Motion, let's go ahead and do the roll call.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegenmeyer? Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. Okay, 22, Steve.
Adoption of a resolution declaring unclaimed monies totaling $129,875.18 in the official custody of the Sutter County Sheriff's Office for more than 5 years as property of the County of Sutter, and depositing said monies to the county general fund as unanticipated revenue.
Thank you. May it please the board and honorable chair, Fritz Havliana, Assistant County Counsel. I'm going to be presenting on behalf of the sheriff and the CAO's office on this matter. Just as a housekeeping matter, in the agenda packet, page 413, there was a proposed resolution that was submitted. There was one area that needs to be corrected, just very briefly. The total amount of unclaimed funds currently in the sheriff's possession should be $129,875.18. In the resolution that's been provided, there is a section which lists that amount short $1.72. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. And just as a bit of background to set the stage, there is a county office that's known as the public administrator. That office is responsible for safeguarding a person's estate when they pass away and when there are no heirs that are available to act on behalf of the estate in the best interest of the estate. And so in Sutter County, that responsibility falls on our sheriff. And so when you hear me make reference to the sheriff or the public administrator, for our purposes, they're going to be interchangeable. And so as the public administrator, the sheriff is authorized by law to seize and marshal any assets when someone dies. They have an obligation to make sure that those assets are safeguarded, and they have an obligation to try to notify any relatives of the decedent to ensure that that person can then make appropriate accommodations for the estate and on behalf of the estate. Now, presently, in that capacity, over the years, the public administrator has secured assets, and again, the total amount as it stands is at $129,875.18. And currently, those funds are not able to be delineated between any sort of ascertainable estate. So as it stands, under the law, there is a legal mechanism that would allow this board to to adopt a resolution that would allow those funds to then convert to the county property. And so that could be found in Government Code Section 50050. And what that stands for is that any money that is in the possession of a local agency and has remained in the official custody of the officer for 3 years becomes the property of the county in this instance upon due notice being provided. Now, there are some general exceptions to that rule that would allow for unclaimed funds to be converted in the event that notice cannot be given. And that's, the exception can be found in Government Code Section 50055. Sorry, a lot of fives and a lot of zeros there. But what that really says is that in certain instances where the amount of money, regardless of how much that money is, if the identity of the depositor is unknown and has been in the custody of the county agency for just 1 year, then this board can adopt a resolution converting that money to the county without the need for any sort of notice being published in the newspaper. And so for purposes of today, it's the recommended action is to issue such a resolution allowing for those funds to be converted to the county. As outlined in the staff report, there are alternatives that this board can take, and I just wanted to briefly discuss what those alternatives are. The first one is that the board may choose not to declare the unclaimed money as property of the county. However, if this board were to follow that action, then the money would remain indefinitely with no real disposition at this point. And so we're recommending against that action. Another option that this board could take would be to transfer that amount of money to the state, specifically the state controller's office, at which point the state, it becomes their problem and eventually it could become their funds. And for obvious reasons, we're not recommending that action either. The last action that this board could do is it could direct staff to publish notice in the newspaper. But there are reasons why we're advising against that. And so just to take those in order, the first reason why we're asking this board to consider adopting the resolution without publishing notice in the newspaper is that firstly, it's not required by law. As I indicated, Government Code Section 50055 provides an exception to the general rule, and it says that when the amount of money or the depositor is unknown, then no notice is needed. Secondly, because of the uncertainty in this instance, notice would be ineffective. If we were to publish some sort of notice in the newspaper, for practical reasons, what would that look like? It would say essentially, to unknown, there's an unknown amount of money that's being held by the sheriff, please submit a claim. And lastly, and this is I think the most critical, is that thirdly, if we did give notice, because I understand the natural inclination is why not err on the side of caution, why not publish notice, what's the harm? Under the law, if we were to give notice and if someone were to submit a claim, once that claim is rejected, that person would have the opportunity to file a lawsuit. And for whatever amount they claim, so if they say, hey, I'm entitled to that full amount, the law says that that money cannot be dispersed until a court of law rules on that. And so here we are in 2024, we're currently facing lawsuits that were filed in 2020. And so if we were to publish notice and if someone were to submit a claim, theoretically, that money would be frozen for years to come. And for those reasons, we're asking this board to follow the recommended action, which is to adopt the resolution as submitted.
Through the chair.
Thank you.
Yeah, 1 second.
through the
Make sure we don't have any speaker cards first. And then we'll bring it back to the board. Speaker cards. Okay, back to the board.
Move to approve.
Through the chair.
Yeah.
Okay, did we possibly just find our first contribution to PARS with this money? Or on discussion, I'll second the motion.
Okay. One clarification point before we vote on this. This item, this money, we think generates prior to the 80s, correct? That's what the staff report was originally, right?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, correct. So as it's
So this has been around a long time.
Through the chair.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with my colleague McKelly over there, Mr. McKelly, that it's a great place to park that money.
I don't even know if.
You gotta get it. We can talk about it later. Let's get it
Well,
in
we'll
the
put it on the
Well,
agenda for
let's-
next meeting.
Let's focus on, yeah.
We have a motion, but what?
Second.
I second it.
Yeah. What about council? We can't do that, can we?
No.
That portion hasn't been agendized, but the board can accept the money and then
Right,
make
okay.
later.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegenmeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. Okay. Number 23, Steve.
Consideration of a letter in opposition to AB 2797 regarding telephone landlines.
Thank you. So in February, the board authorized the board chair to sign a letter to the California Public Utilities Commission in opposition to AT&T's request to abandon its role as carrier of last resort. Recently, there's been an assembly bill introduced, AB 2797, that had provisions in it that would also allow AT&T to abandon its role as carrier of last resort. And as you can see on the report in the background section, just on June 20th, last week, the CPUC rejected that proposal. This feels like a bit of a workaround on AT&T's part. In fact, I know Supervisor Ziegenmeier is quite passionate about this, and the recommendation is to authorize the chair to sign a letter in opposition of AB 2797.
Yeah, through the chair. 1,500 people alone are going to be affected by that here in Sutter County alone. And last time I checked, we didn't have any foothills around here besides the buttes. And that's where a bulk of those 1,500 are, Meridian, the buttes and so forth. But you look at Yuba County, Colusa County, a lot of those other rural community counties out and about. When I flew to the hearings in Indio, and I'd say 95% of the people, it was a packed room, packed house, 95% there were against, all for the same reasons. They were afraid they had, their parents or their grandparents living in a place that this doesn't always work. And the landline works. So every school, every preschool has a landline. So something happens at the school, they got to get a hold of parents, and they don't have that landline anymore. That's could be a dangerous situation. But I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Let's make sure that no speaker cards, nothing. Okay, and no other comments from the board. I'd just like to make a couple comments too, Nick, or Mike, before we make the motion is, where I live, I can't make a cell phone call in my house.
We know.
I have one little spot
Do we ever?
where I can stand and make a phone call. But, that's, and usually I only have one bar there. So it's problematic for all of us. And I would just like to, I'm honored to sign this letter. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have a second? Yes, okay. Roll call, please.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegenmeier? Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. Okay, Steve, any follow-up announcements?
None today, thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Correspondence? We don't have anything there. Let's go ahead and do our condolences and district reports, please. Mike.
First of all, I want to close in memory of Jennifer Rockenstein, who passed away. She was my neighbor, passed away this morning. She battled cancer for about a year. Complete outdoorsy person. She did everything outdoors. Loved it, and just sad, full life, always happy. But pray for her and her family. Judith Laney Boyd of Live Oak passed away. Yeah, so another great lady. know her son and daughter-in-law, great people, and my daughter plays with her granddaughter in soccer. Nice lady. Ended on a positive note. Fair, if you all went to the fair last week, it turned out to be great. The sheriff was there. We bought some animals. It's always fun. I tell you what, I thank the buyers for sticking around because it was pretty hot on Saturday. But made it through. People stuck around. Kids did well. Add-ons. You can still do add-ons to these kids' animals till Friday this week. So get on social media. Look out there. There are some kids that didn't hit the break-even point. Help them out. I know myself. I've done the Venmo thing and bought a raffle ticket here or there. But like I said, these kids, it costs almost $350 just to raise the turkeys. And some of them went for about $200. Same thing with some of the pigs. But it's great. These kids learn a lot. They work with these animals throughout the year. And some of them use this money to help pay for college and other things, beneficial things. They learn a lot. No, just thank you those that went. It was a fun time, nice and warm.
Dan?
Supervisor, what's the deadline on the add-ons?
Add-ons is this Friday.
This Friday, okay.
Yeah,
great.
this Friday, and it just has to be postmarked by this Friday. And you could just go on to social media, Facebook, literally just go on Facebook. One of you that you're friends with is gonna say, hey, my son or daughter they didn't make weight, they couldn't sell, or my daughter's chicken got disqualified for a bruise on its wing. No broken, but hey, but I mean, there's kids that I couldn't imagine raising a $2,000 hog and not making weight. It's $2,000. So that'll hurt you.
All right, thanks, Supervisor. Yep, second district, rocking and rolling. Of course, we had the fair, which was pretty amazing. From what I heard, I was out of town, but great things happened at the fair, and I intend to do some add-ons here the next few days, so that'll be good. Also, the week before, we had the summer stroll, big success. Lots of great turnout, pretty hot, but we had a really good time, the people who were there, so that was wonderful to have. I encourage you to go to the grand opening, or we had a grand opening a few weeks ago of Hooligans. And for those of you who've been there, it's a new bar with a great food venue. I tried the food, it's excellent, so make sure you go in and go to Hooligans. So we know we have another selection down on Plymouth Street. Other than that, I have nothing else to report. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Carm?
So I'd like to request a couple letters of sympathy and condolences to be sent out to the families of Gurmail Singh Puni and Harmeer Singh Mon for their passing.
Okay.
And then just a reminder, this Sunday, June 30th, the Sutter County Library Literacy Program, they're presenting their 19th annual Multicultural Women's Dance. It's at AK School from 12 to 5.
Thank you, Carm. Nick?
Thank you. No, I just wanted to talk about my cousin Judith Boyd is actually, I know you guys probably didn't even know that because of the last name, but her maiden name is McKelly. Anthony is my cousin too. So I'll get with you, Gina, and give you the addresses of the children because they live out of the area, some of them. So, okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Through the chair. There's one thing I wanted to add. I'd like to do a plaque for Branch Rickey of Sutter. Branch has spent the last 2 years, serving as the president of the Lions Club, and he was instrumental in putting together the signage coming into Sutter. When you come into the town of Sutter on Butte House, if you look on the left side there, it'll have a map. Sweco donated the map portion of it, but it's out of steel, and it's etched in there all the the blocks and the streets in Sutter. And then Molly from the museum, she worked with Branch on the little QR codes on the sign, so you could scan the QR code and it'll tell you a story about certain things all over it. So it's really cutting edge stuff right there. But Branch also serves on the board of the Sutter Youth Organization in Sutter. He's a jack of all trades, and I mean, he's the reason why I run every day. And I've lost almost 45 pounds because this guy just been heck of a coach and heck of a person.
That's good.
So.
Through the chair, can I add one more item too?
Sure.
I'd like to add a congratulatory letter to Jaya Baines for her graduation from UC Santa Barbara, and just congratulate her for a great job. Well done.
Congratulations.
One out. Okay.
Okay. Will I make a motion or a second?
Oh, wait. I got a couple things. Anyway, you guys always want to cut me off. I can't believe this. Anyway, I'd just like to say congratulations to the kids for the fair. It wasn't the record amount, but it's really close to the record amount ever generated from the sale. So that's pretty incredible, especially when you consider Pop 12 kind of did a number on the kids with pigs, because they had no way of proving that these pigs were raised in a humane environment, and even though no kid would ever not take care of his pig correctly. I mean, they care, but I mean, you can't prove it. So therefore, in California, you can't sell an animal. So all of the pigs had to be either bought back alive, which you have to pay $1,000 more, or the buyer has to have it slaughtered, cut and wrapped, and put in their freezer, or you can donate it to like the food bank. But no sale backs on pigs this year. So that was really problematic. And then I'd like to wish everyone a happy 4th of July this coming week, and be safe out there and sane. Don't use illegal fireworks. Anyway, thank you. And that was my report. Thank you.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We need a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. And next, we have 2 closed session items.
Conference of Legal Counsel, Workers' Compensation Claim, Dunn v. County of Sutter pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.95, and Conference of Labor Negotiators Gina Rowland and Veronica Baumgartner. Sutter County Deputy Sheriff's Association and Sutter County Peace Officers Association pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6.